Up and at 'em on a Tuesday. Hello, everybody. It is 10:15. I'm Jenny Ann Chondo along with Ron Corning. So as much as Ron and I like to just chat and hang out and give our opinions on stuff, when there's something big, we bring in an expert. And today, for that, we bring in Seth Denson. He is the co-founder and chief strategist at GDP Advisors. He's also the author of The Cure, and I think we've got that book cover to show. It's a blueprint for solving America's healthcare crisis. There it is. Welcome in, Seth. Good to see you.
Jenny, always a pleasure to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Well, listen, it's been sort of this weird roller coaster ride with regard to the vaccine. You know, in the beginning, it seemed like it would come sooner than it did, but now it feels like we're getting really close. From your perspective, how close are we to having a vaccine widely available for, you know, the regular people?
Yeah, so there's two parts to that, right? How close are we to having a vaccine? And to that count, we're very close. Many estimates are that we could have a vaccine starting to be distributed as early as next month. Widely distributed, though, that's the secondary challenge here. Currently there are 8 billion people in the world. And by most estimates, experts believe that we need to hit somewhere between 60 and 80% either vaccination or herd immunity to eradicate coronavirus. Well, the two key providers right now, pharmaceutical companies that are leading the way, Pfizer and Moderna, together combined can produce about 1.8 billion doses in a year. And so to widely get this distributed out to the world, that's going to be a bigger challenge.
It really is. You know, there was some political news, and I don't necessarily want to make this a political discussion, but just as it relates to the vaccine, as the Trump administration was saying, you know what, it doesn't matter if we don't hand this over to the up-and-coming administration because we're already going to be distributing the vaccine. From your perspective, does it seem that that's going to happen in time before the inauguration?
Oh, certainly not. I mean, maybe some of the distribution will happen prior to January 20th of 2021, but by no means will this be completely distributed out. And a matter of fact, we're talking years before enough of this vaccine gets distributed worldwide to make as great of an impact as we're all going to need it to make. Now, that's not to discount the fact that anybody getting this vaccine is one person closer to us eradicating the world of this. But nonetheless, this is a long-term game, not just a short-term game.
And the news is just out this morning that Pfizer has chosen 4 states, including Texas, for this pilot vaccine delivery program. You look at this as a positive? I mean, initial inclinations, I think, would be like, oh, that's great. But do you see any concerns about that?
Well, I think certainly there's a positive if you're a Texan, right, and that we're going to get first crack at this. But one of the things, and we were kind of joking off camera, one of the things that I'm not okay with us being number one in is actual cases of coronavirus.
Exactly, right, which is maybe why they picked us.
Well, I think it's twofold. One is we are certainly a hotbed, but there are many states that are. But we also have cold storage capabilities, and that's one of the challenges of the Pfizer-specific vaccine is this thing has to be kept at extremely low temperatures. We're talking 95 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. And just to put that in perspective, Antarctica is 50 below Fahrenheit. So Antarctica is too hot for this vaccine.
Oh,
so
Lord.
It takes a special freezer to keep this vaccine intact before it's administered. And Texas has some of those specific freezer capabilities.
Well, and now I wonder if this is going to be the next big rush, right? So the rush on the beginning was treatments and different modalities for helping people, prevention techniques, vaccines, people making toilet paper, people making sanitizer. Are people going to now somehow try to figure out how to make these really, really cold freezers?
Well, I mean, there probably are some innovators out there that
want to go into business?
I mean, you know, one of the issues or one of the things that we can always look to and use is dry ice. But a secondary challenge is transportation of this. And as any child of the 80s and 90s knows, dry ice can be extremely volatile. It can blow up. So it's not like you can transport this by plane. So there's some challenges ahead as we look to transport this not just throughout the United States, but even throughout the world. And my hope is that our great innovators of the world continue to come out with new ways of getting this vaccine out there.
Seth Denson, thank you so much. Fellow child of the 80s with the dry ice analogy. I so appreciate it. There he is, SethDenson.com, on Twitter at Seth Denson, and then his book is The Cure.
It's great perspective, and I think it really paints a picture of the kind of work it's going to take and collaboration on all fronts, private, public sectors to make this happen so that we can get beyond this. And again, there's another component to this, and that is scientists saying, will this virus mutate, and what will that mean for the vaccine? So we just have to kind of keep our minds open to a broad range of possibilities, I'm afraid.